My grandfather had a wonderful vision, managed to create this wonderful, wonderful place. And it's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful that it needs to be maintained. It's iconic and it's unique to Victoria.
I was absolutely blown away by such a place could ever exist. When I read the history, the concept behind it by the founders was mind-blowing.
But in the wider context, Montsalvat's a really important national treasure. It's one of the longest running arts colonies.
Montsalvat was an accident of time and place and a group of artists that wanted somewhere. This was the where. And they built this extraordinary self-contained cocoon, in a way, of arts.
So this is from Sigmund Jorgensen, and I read it and I thought, that's Montsalvat. That is absolutely Montsalvat. And he said, "My hope is that the values underpinning its creation can be re-established so that it always remains a place of innovation and creative imagination, generous to new ideas, even the crazy ones." That's what Montsalvat has that nobody else has.
Well, the reason why Montsalvat is so special is because it's not just an arts space, it's a community of people and it's integrated into the local community as well.
Where else is there this remarkable fusion of architecture and history? And I'm no architect, but there are at least 5 or 6 different architectural styles, and they basically built it around the materials they had. And then you've got its history through the war, when it became a market garden and a dairy and an orchard, and a lot of the buildings at the front of the property were built in that time, again, hand-built by the people who lived here.
Montsalvat prided itself on being self-funding, that they didn't receive government funding. And while before COVID that was okay, the weddings and funerals and arts activities were paying the way, and some of, a reasonable amount of maintenance of the buildings and restoration of the buildings was happening. When COVID came, all of that disappeared because it was basically reliant on people coming on site.
The desire to rebuild the culture of Montsalvat and bring back some of the things that were lost is huge, not only with the artists, but with the wider community.
I think there's a healing point for people when they come here, not to enjoy just, the nice buildings or the grounds, but to actually get away from the harshness of everything out there and to enjoy exceptional beauty.
I think it's changed a lot of people's lives that have been here. They come here and see that alternative and realise that they don't just have to follow that well-worn path that we all tread.
It has a special essence that you cannot find anywhere else. And I would like to see things happening here that are all about that fairy tale magic that couldn't happen in a contemporary art gallery or a contemporary, cultural centre, that could only happen at Montsalvat.
First, if you don't know what Montsalvat is, come and visit. Get an understanding of what people who have spent time at Montsalvat are actually talking about when they say it is literally a unique place with magical aura, and it's completely unique. There's no other place like it.
Something gets under your skin about Montsalvat. No matter how difficult and how challenging it is, it gets under your skin and you can't stay away.
Montsalvat needs love in terms of energy and generosity from people, but it also needs funding. It actually needs to be upkept. So all these beautiful spaces that were created with I hope that they'd last into the future. I mean, some of the buildings need quite a lot of care.
When we went to government then seeking funding, federal and state governments basically were giving money to people who were already receiving multi-year funding. So a strategy that made them independent, in fact, punished them through COVID.
People have done it tough through the pandemic and whatnot, but I think there's a window opportunity to help Montsalvat, and I think it may close reasonably rapidly.
It's one of these things where it's a happy accident that we now have Montsalvat. It's something that does require money and effort to look after like anything else, but it's so unusual, we can't not.